Welcome to a special edition of The Last Burro Man. As you can see, we are not in West Texas, but on the Dutch Caribbean island of Bonaire. There's sun, there's snorkeling, there's scuba, but of course we're here for the donkeys. There's been a big social media uproar against the donkey sanctuary here on the island, and we've come to get to the truth of it. So sit back, relax, and let's learn about the Bonaire donkeys together. Cue the music.
My name is Mark Myers. Most people just call me the Burro Man. I travel the country with my dogs rescuing donkeys from abuse, neglect, abandonment, or sometimes it's just wild burros that the government doesn't want anymore. My staff helps me care for more than 3,000 donkeys all across the country. Donkey rescue is not what we do, it's who we are.
From the day I was living on the island, I am a tour guide on the island. And for me, I think that the donkeys are very important for the island. The reason is that, like you can see, we give island tours. So many times when we have our customers in the bus, the first thing when they see the donkey is to start yelling, stop, stop, stop. We want to make pictures. So I believe personally that the donkeys is one of the animals of the island that are very highlighted and that are very loved by the tourists that visit our island. I know that the donkeys were getting too much outside. There is some traffic accidents. There is people that, let's say, mistreated the donkeys. We try to control the traffic accidents. We try to help the donkeys, but we are trying also to help the local people, the drivers on the island. If you leave all those donkeys on the street and you have all those accidents going on, what you have then is that both sides are losers. The donkeys are losers because they lose their life. They got crippled by the accidents, by the traffic accidents. But the people also got a problem because they got a lot of damage in the cars.
You work on the sanctuary.
About the Trana sanctuary? Yes, Canada work on the sanctuary.
How do you feel about the way the animals are taken care of on the sanctuary?
Como te senti buri ko nanto wardu yuda of cuidar na donkey sanctuary?
Kita sinto ko nanta cuidar bom.
I think Renato says that he thinks that the donkeys are being very well taken care for at the donkey sanctuary.
Now, you've seen donkeys in the wild, loose on Bonaire. Are the donkeys at the sanctuary taken care of better than the ones that are out?
Bota mira e buri ko nang kuto loss kuto Canada naturaleza. Bota hanya ko na donkey sanctuary cuido na donkey sanctuary to minho kulo que de naturaleza.
Mita querer sim, mita querer que sim.
Yes, I think yes. The treatment that and the help that they got in the donkey sanctuary is a lot better than on the street. On the street there is no help.
Tell me about Marina.
Contente que over the Marina. Que tipo de Marina tá? Com Marina tá? Que Marina tá sendo?
Bom, Marina tá sendo agora aqui, está cuidando por isso não, está zorpa não, está doctor para não, está hanya comida foi já for para não, foi Holanda que tudo isso aí não.
Marina is taking care for all the donkeys. The donkeys are getting food. The donkeys are getting doctor's attention. The doctor is helping the donkeys in case it is needed. Marina got food from, not got food Marina, the food is coming like from Holland. The food is coming from all over. Marina is taking care very good for the donkeys.
Okay. What happens to the donkeys on Bonaire if there was no Marina?
Chico la pasa que muri ko na Bonaire si Marina no tapat existir.
Mas querer ko
Long vai bom.
Cos long vai bom. E buri ko na lo sigi bira hopi, e lo sigi bi mas acidente, ofene resiende que era maltratar com auto problema, ene tá muri com tudo isso aí, né?
I think if Marina was not on the island, the problem with traffic would be a lot more. There will be a lot of accidents. There will be people killed in traffic accidents with the donkeys. The donkeys will get a lot more in their population, and also people will mistreat the donkeys more if Marina was not here to help the donkeys.
My name is Marina Melis. and I'm born in the 1st of April in 1950 in Holland, in Hilversum exactly. I have no title, but I'm taking care of the donkeys. And I'm taking care of the donkeys since 23 years here on this island of Bonaire. And I love the donkeys since my 8th birthday. And my friends who live on Aruba told me, Marina, you love donkeys so much you have to go on a holiday to Bonaire. And then you see how many donkeys need help, because we read in the newspapers that there are a lot of things going on with donkeys. That is how I came on this island. And then I see and ask around, and that's how I said, wow, here is a lot of work to do for me. And a couple of years later, I moved to here, took a job, and now I'm retired and I have my pension, but I'm still working 7 days a week for the donkeys. The donkeys facing outside this sanctuary a lot of problems. To find water in the dry season is very, very difficult. They have to roam miles to find water. And in the dry season, there is hardly no food. I can show you pictures from very, very skinny donkeys. And the first is the car accidents, because they are searching for food. They're walking on the roads, go to the living world, to the people. And the second is the starvation by tetanus. And if we get a phone call from tourists wherever in nature they find a donkey laying down who not can stand up anymore, we go out and in 24 hours we or either help the donkeys or the vet will say, yes, he can be helped or not. And then we help to give them not suffering.
We have one colleague from me, Genaro, he's from Bonaire, on the payroll, and the rest is volunteering and students. And also Marina and Ed, they are living from their pension.
So nobody gets paid?
No.
Where does all the money go that comes in?
To the donkeys.
For what?
For food, water, medical supplies, for facilities. I know her now for 7.5 years, and I know that her heart is in the shape of a donkey. And for donkeys, she does everything. And all the bad things and rumors, I think that people have to come and ask her personally.
I know Marina lives for donkeys. Everything she does is for the donkeys, everything. But the controversy is, I went to a meeting last year with Al Catafumo and his daughter Rona and Marjorie from a sanctuary in the United States. And they basically were ripping the sanctuary to shreds. They came in as guests, pretended to be guests, and took pictures and said that the donkeys had tooth problems, they had huge swollen mouths, they had foot problems, that they were starving, that there was no food, that we were feeding them cardboard because there was no food for them. And she took a picture of a very old donkey who is skinny, because they tend to be sometimes. And that was her way of showing that all the donkeys in the sanctuary were starving, which they're not. They're not at all. And her plan, what she presented, was the donkeys are supposed to be in the wild, they're part of the culture of Bonaire, and then proceeded to say that they wanted to set up some kind of a donkey tourist center in Rincon, and that they wanted to take donkeys from here, from the sanctuary here, to Rincon. And they were going to teach them to ride, to do pack rides and donkey rides and cart pulls and things like that.
So do you think the attack on Marina was in any way justified, or was it just a justification to meet their end?
Oh, it absolutely was to meet their end. It is. I'm here. I see what goes on. It is not justified at all. The donkeys are well cared for here. They're loved. They have medical care. I can't tell you how many times I'm here and the vet is here to check on a new baby or to check on a mom or, somebody that's hit by a car. Or he's here all the time making sure everybody's healthy. And there's no justification for anything she said. The meeting, Al Catafumo and Rona said that they went to the United States looking for somebody to help them. So they went looking and found Marjorie. That was my understanding at the meeting, that they went looking and found her and brought her here. and then came in here pretending to be guests. And then, unfortunately, instead of talking to Marina, they went on Facebook, they went to the radio station, they went to the TV station, and absolutely ripped the sanctuary and Marina to shreds, based on information that they don't have. Yeah, I heard that they said that she was killing donkeys to make room for more, and that that we had captured and killed 70 or 80 donkeys from the wild, and that's not true. The only ones that are put down are the ones that can't survive anyway, and they're put out of their misery. The vet, when a donkey that needs to be euthanized, the vet makes the decision. Yes, Marina may be there at a car accident, but the vet is the one that makes the recommendation. The vet is the one that euthanizes the animal. Absolutely nothing. Injections aren't even given here. The vet does all the injections on new moms or moms that are struggling in labor. Marina, none of that happens without the vet here.
Well, I want to begin by saying that I taught argumentation for 35 years, all about how you develop an argument with reason and logic, evidence and credible authorities, and how oftentimes arguments end up being manipulated through logical fallacies and propaganda methods, et cetera, to distract people and to make people come around to your point of view kind of through unethical methods. So when this social media campaign began against Marina in March of last year, I was just horrified to see how much of it was just personal attacks, what we call an ad hominem logical fallacy. The names that were being called, that this was a concentration camp, that this is a prison, that she's Hitler, that we're Nazis, that we're committing genocide. And once you get into a name-calling mode, it's very hard for others to counter that and bring our attention back to the real argument.
My mom was really a beautiful lady. My mom was a Russian lady. During the war, the German people took my mom from her family in prison. My mom was a beautiful woman and had the tattoo numbers of her prison camp on her pulses on both arms. And it hurts me that an American woman, and I say woman, I could use other words, but I'm not doing that because I think I'm decent. And they use my donkey sanctuary with all my love built and all my strength in it. They call this a concentration camp. They should be punished by using this because when I was young, when my mom has back problems, pain in her legs or something else, she said, oh, child, that's because I was in the camp. You slept on the floors and you must be happy that you still have your mom because others get killed. They were killed in the gas chambers. My mom and dad both were in that camp. That's how they met each other. They both are not living anymore. But I wish my mom could see what I'm doing, but she will cry and cry what they are telling about my sanctuary.
During our time here on the island, as we were investigating these claims against the sanctuary, we interviewed anybody that would talk to us. Not just the donkey sanctuary staff and volunteers, but we interviewed tourists that had taken the tour on the sanctuary, local business owners that they're donkey dependent because that's part of the tourism of the island, government officials. The only people that would not talk to us were the ones that levied these complaints against the sanctuary, and I don't understand that. If they had legitimate gripes, why not put them on film? Why not talk about them? Why not bring them into the light? Why are we hiding behind the internet? To me, that just doesn't make sense.
My name is Mathis. I'm from the Netherlands with my wife Marjolein, and we visited here today the donkey sanctuary in Bonaire, and it was great. A lot of donkeys getting care they need, and a lot of love and affection for all of them. So.
Let me ask you this. Was anything off limits to you as you drove around?
No.
Well, you can't speed, but... Or do you say off limits?
Well, they've been accused of hiding things from the public.
Well, I couldn't see it there. So it's a wide open space with all the donkeys, and they were doing some maintenance, so it looked all pretty solid to me. But
So a real good experience.
good experience, yeah.
So tell us, who are you and where are you from?
My name is Nikki. I'm from Venice, Florida, and this is my first time traveling, and it's wonderful. Should absolutely come see the Donkey Sanctuary.
What about you?
My name is Jake. I'm from Venice, Florida. This is my second time traveling, and I think donkeys are cool.
All right, I just got out of a meeting with Frank Van Slovy. He is a government biologist here on the island. We could not film inside because we didn't have prior approvals, but he did speak on the record. We have audio tapes of it. Really nice guy. Besides the feral donkey problem that we're here addressing, they've also got a goat and a feral pig problem on the island that is also doing a lot of destruction to the ecosystem. He talked about some projects that they try to remove some of the donkeys in the past before he was actually on the island. That included sending some donkeys to Curacao, another island, to be food for the lions of the zoo. There was another plan that was thwarted by Marina to ship a bunch of donkeys to Haiti. So we talked about that. He talked candidly about the fact that this island cannot support 1,000 donkeys to graze on their own. There's just nothing out there for them to eat, and it would be cruel to leave them. And as a biologist, it's his job to look at those things. And then finally, he's a nice guy. He kind of got drawn up into this while he was just doing his job. And he's had personal threats against him. He's been attacked personally on social media. And it's really uncalled for because he's just a nice guy doing his job.
Hello, I'm Karina. I live here for 4 years on Bonaire. I like animals. I'm a volunteer for the animal shelter here, but I'm also like what the donkeys do. The donkey sanctuary is doing on the island. Marina is a great woman with a lot of strength. She's here for many, many years, and she did a good work. She has now more than 500 donkeys on the ground. And I'm working here at the cruise market, and every day some people came and asked, where is the donkey woman? Because before she was also here on the cruise market. It's too much work for her now, and people enjoy what she's doing. Me, as a citizen of Bonaire, I like also what she's doing, because it's good there are some donkeys on the street, but there are too much, and she helped them. If there is a car accident, nobody look after them, only Marina does. She's always one of the first by the accident and take care for all the donkeys on our island. Thank you, Marina, for what you're doing, and go on.
Okay, when Amy and I decided to take on this project and find out what all this social media business was about, we split up the duties. I took the donkeys outside the fences to see why they need to be managed, and Amy took on the inside the fence duties to see if the donkeys that the sanctuary has are being well cared for.
I followed the staff and the volunteers around for several days. I watched the morning feeding, the afternoon feeding. They're getting lots of hay, lots of fresh vegetables. The staff and volunteers were great, always worried about the animals first. Everything is done precise every day the same way. They have a great feeding schedule. All the waters were clean. Very hands-on, all about the animals. We did meet the veterinarian while we were here. He comes out several times a week or whenever they need him. The volunteers and the staff, they do a lot of the wound care and that type of thing. When the donkeys come in, they do a lot of that themselves. But the vet seemed very capable, very pleasant fellow, and genuinely seemed to care about the animals and how they're getting along. One of the things I was most impressed with was the volunteers. These are some great young people, very hands-on. They love the animals. They know all the animals' names. There's a couple hundred donkeys at the sanctuary, and all the volunteers and the staff, they know the name of every one of those donkeys. And I know that because as we walked through the field, somebody would say, oh, this is Finn. And another person a few minutes later, oh, yes, that's Finn. They all know the names. They all know the backgrounds of the donkeys, whose mother is whose and which ones were orphans. They have a really bonded relationship with all the animals, and you can really see how much they care for them. And they don't do this for any other reason than just to make sure the donkeys have a better place.
Outside there are females, there are stallions, and yeah, we are taking care of them. The moms and the little babies, they are in here. Some of the moms, they are outside the park also. But there are many accidents happening with the donkeys outside. And also the tetanus. And I see many accidents with them. And I think they are very safe in here. And I hope they are happy in here and they are healthy in here. So I think the donkeys in here, that's better than outside. Mia is a very nice woman. And her heart is belonging to the donkeys. I always say she's a donkey by herself. She looks like a donkey. And yeah, she loves the donkeys. The donkeys are always on the first place. And she always thinking as a donkey too. How they are happy, how they are healthy, how she can help them. And in here you can see how she is helping little foals. She is nursed them for the whole night, and she's always awake. There's just ring the telephone, and she's going outside to help some donkeys. And yeah, she's a very good woman.
You helped catch donkeys yesterday.
Yeah.
Why is that important that you take the donkeys from the island and bring them here?
Because, for example, in het begin, ik was hier en er gebeurde toen in de week misschien 3 tot 5 ongelukken, zo ongeveer. Iets meer soms, iets minder af en toe. En ja, je ziet vreselijke dingen met de ezels gebeuren. Het verkeer, de mensen rijden hard. En, ja, er waren te veel ezels buiten het park.
There were too many car accidents happening with the donkeys, 3 to 5 accidents in 1 week. And that's why we have to catch the donkeys from the streets.
A lot of the donkeys we saw yesterday outside the park look skinny. Why is that?
Ik denk omdat er is te weinig eten voor de ezels buiten.
There's not enough food for them outside.
So yeah, that's why they are skinny. And here they have, ze krijgen eten en routine, elke ochtends, middags.
They get every day their food they need here.
Vegetables.
I see a lot of tourists come on. A lot of tourists. What do you hide from the tourists?
Persoonlijk, ik verberg niks voor de toeristen. Ik denk niemand hier. We zijn zoals we zijn en ja, ze kunnen alles zien wat er hier gebeurt.
We don't hide anything for the tourist or anybody, and they can see all things here.
Okay, one of the first things I found is inbreeding. These, when you have a small population of donkeys and they're left to their own devices, you're going to have a great deal of inbreeding. Moms and sons, dads and daughters, uncles, the whole creepy thing is going to happen, and you're going to have problems. Joints are one of the first things we notice, backs, teeth, just various conformation issues which are very evident in this herd of donkeys. Donkeys outside the fence are typically killed by car wrecks is number one. We have heard so many stories about donkeys being killed by cars on this island. The second one is tetanus. And this is important because tetanus is a terrible disease to watch an animal die from. And they're getting it because they're having to forage in places like landfills. There's not enough to eat on the island, so they're forced to go into these landfills. And that's where they're getting in contact with tetanus. And it's just a terrible way to die. And that it all boils down to there's not enough to eat. Anytime you have donkeys that are going to be eating whatever is available, you have to look at what we call range management in the United States. Now, this time of the year that we happen to be here is the green time. It's just after the rainy season, and so you see a lot of green leaves on things. Well, the donkeys don't eat the leaves. What they're looking for is the grass that's growing, and there's virtually no grass at all. So if there's no grass now after the rainy season, there's going to be nothing left once we hit the dry season. I've been all over this island, from the salt fields of the south
to the rocky windmills of the north, and there's very few areas that can actually support healthy donkeys on this island. If we were considering this as a Peaceful Valley sanctuary, let's say we were going to bring donkeys to Bonaire to graze, we wouldn't put any more than 200, 250 tops on this island, and that might even be stretching it. There's been a lot of plans put forth on how to handle the donkey situation on Bonaire. Marina's proposal was to remove the moms and the babies and leave the males outside the fence. Put a moratorium on breeding for a while. Let the numbers kind of settle down. And so far, I think it's working. The moms and babies are receiving excellent care in the sanctuary, and the males therefore have more to eat on the outside of the sanctuary. Amy and I came down here on our own dime. We didn't accept any help from anybody because we wanted to be impartial in what we were seeing. I would urge everybody, if you have a love for donkeys, if you have a concern about the donkeys in the wild of Bonaire, come down here yourself. Take a week, enjoy the weather, enjoy the snorkeling, the scuba, enjoy the atmosphere, and see the donkeys for yourself. See the condition of the donkeys on the outside as well as on the inside. Donkey Sanctuary Bonaire is doing an exceptional job.
Nothing else. Donkeys are my life. That's why I help them from start and day one, and I will do that for the rest of my life.
Goed zo, kom maar. Kom dan. Kom dan, lieverd. Ja, kom maar. Kom dan. Kom maar. Kom maar. Ja, kom maar. Oh, kom maar. Kom maar, lieverd. Ben je zo blij? Oh ja. Kom maar. Ben je zo blij?
All right, well, that's it from Bonaire. You can learn more about Donkey Sanctuary Bonaire at donkeysanctuary.org, and you can learn about our work at Peaceful Valley Donkey Rescue at donkeyrescue.org. Y'all be good, and we'll see you next time.